Okay, hello YouTube, and welcome to the first in a series of video logs by the FPL family. My name is Lee, this is my wife Sam, and we've been playing FPL for, I think, between us like 20 years or something. I think it was like 5 or 6 years, and we looked at it, and you've been playing for 11, and I've been playing for like 13 years. So we've got a bit of FPL pedigree behind us. I've got a few top 1% and top 0.5% finishes. I think you have too. And generally there's quite a lot of to and fro in between us in terms of who gets which player and who's copying who on a week-to-week basis. So we thought rather than discussing it over the TV or over the sofa on a Friday night, we'd come to you via video log and tell you about what we're doing in terms of captain picks, in terms of transfers, and in terms of what the game week outlook is going to be. We're also on Twitter at FPL Family, and we've also got the hashtag FPL Family too, so follow us on there. Please like and share this video and comment below on who your pick is going to be for this week, and tell us who your captain's going to be if you want some feedback from us. I'm going to every week talk about who my captain's going to be. I'm also going to come up with who I think is the top pick for this week in terms of points. Sam's going to talk through her captain choice as well. We're going to talk about who in each other's teams we're scared of as well. And I've got a pretty good feeling who I know you've got in your team up front and who I haven't, who I know is going to be scary for me in the first game week, I can tell you straight away. And we're also going to have a Sam's Jammy pick. And the reason we have Sam's Jammy pick is that every season, she just comes out with these mind-blowing picks, right? So last season when Tadic got, I think there's Southampton at home, and he got like a hat-trick and 2 assists and 3 bonus points, and he got like 35 points. And you drafted him in the week before on like a hunch. It blew my mind. And it upsets me greatly when this happens.
Yes.
So between us, we tend to do all right in terms of picks, but you have these outrageous picks. So we're about 3 weeks, I think, away from the beginning of the Premier League for this year.
August the 11th.
Yeah, 11th, I think. And I think it starts on a Friday, right? So Arsenal playing Leicester at the Emirates on a Friday. Yeah. So I think the Friday thing is going to be more and more of a thing this year. So Arsenal versus Leicester at home. So we've got about 3 weeks to play around with our teams, get a feel for who's a good pick, who's good value. But we've got our first drafts in front of us, haven't we? And you should be able to see them on the screen. So, Sam, tell us who you think is a good pick for your front three, right? I think I know exactly who you're going with, right?
There is only one man that was going to go on my team sheet first.
And you've made your tea in your Spurs mug, right? So we kind of know where this is going to go.
It's Harry Kane.
Okay. So a bit of a no-brainer, Harry Kane, right? Easy pick.
For me, I think you're mental if you haven't got Harry Kane in your team.
Okay, all right.
I think, given previous seasons, the key Premier League striker, the Golden Boot player, was at 13 with Aguero.
Yeah.
And actually, that's a big deal to take that out of your team, and it felt a bit scary to put Aguero in at 13.
So you're kind of going into it again this year, thinking you're scared if you haven't got him.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we can't argue with the pick, right? I mean, it's an obvious pick.
And you're talking about a player who didn't play at the beginning of last season, and now still won the Golden Boot. So I can't see that you're safe without Harry Kane.
So if you've gone 12.5 up front with Harry Kane, you've presumably got a couple of light ones, have you, in the other 2 slots?
Potentially. I've gone with Josh King again at Bournemouth.
Okay.
Now Josh King was in my team for quite a large proportion of last season.
Yeah. He was essential at Bournemouth at the back of the last season. I think you had to have him, right?
I agree. And I think he was a brilliant midfielder in terms of fantasy league anyway. He's been reclassified.
So
he's been reclassified. Yeah. He's a striker this season. He's 7.5. There is the Defoe element to consider this season at 8. So he's 0.5 more.
Yeah. Do you not think he's worth that, 0.5?
Pens,
probably?
I do think he's worth it.
Okay.
But, I mean, this is the first draft of my team. I was a bit tight financially in terms of what was going on. And Josh King, I just... Last season, he was so good for me week in, week out that he seemed like a good choice.
All right. Third pick up top?
Well, this is my out there. Perhaps we'll call this my out.
Is this your jammy pick already? Who have you got?
I've got Solomon Rondon at West Brom. Now,
okay, interesting pick. Talk us through that one.
So you'll know that when I did my fancy team this season, it was done on the back of you going, they've released the fancy league for this season.
So you hastily added Rondon to your team because he was that essential.
Down Wembley Way, and then the kids were moaning that they wanted dinner, and so I added Solomon Rondon to fill my team.
It's an outrageous pick.
Now look,
But wait a minute. So West Brom, home to, I'm pretty sure they're home to Bournemouth first game. Could work for you.
Burnley.
Could work. Okay.
And Stoke. So actually,
hard to argue with that, by the way.
3 okay fixtures to start off with. The only thing to consider, I think I read or I saw that West Brom have signed another striker.
Yeah. So they bought Jay Rodriguez, and this is a Tony Pulis team, right? Very unlikely they're going to go 2 up top and be really ambitious going forward. So
there's that to consider.
Yeah.
Whether Rondon is actually still there come August the 11th, we'll see next week.
Or at West Brom or in your team?
In my team.
Your team,
He'll still be at West Brom, but whether he'll still be in my fantasy team, it will come to fruition next week.
All right, so you've got a bit of a spread then. So a couple of cheapy-ish and Harry Kane. So who's in the middle?
Taking up a lot of money. So the first guy that went into my midfield, and again, I would sincerely hope. Well, if you haven't got Kane, then you should definitely have Dele Alli in your team.
Okay, all right, yeah. So Kane 12.5, Dele Alli 9.5, 22. Yeah, what's that? 22 million? Yeah, 22 million in the Spurs bucket. All right. I bet you've got Kieran Trippier as well.
Oh, yes.
All right, okay, go on.
I think Dele Alli... There's 2 choices at Spurs. It's Dele Alli or Christian Eriksen. Actually, if I could make room for both, I would. But I can't, because I've got Kieran Trippier as well. I think...
Both really good picks, by the way.
Both really good picks.
Be interested to hear from you guys if you've got Dele Alli or Eriksen, or whether you're going with both or
Well, to be
neither.
honest, if you've got coverage of one or the other, I think you're safe this season. For me, it was Dele Alli over Eriksen, because I think Eriksen has the potential to assist the assist, as opposed, and therefore, whilst amazing as a Spurs fan, not as good as Ali in terms of fantasy points.
Ali's got the goal threat. He's there. You look at his heat maps from last year. He's up there with Kane all the time.
And
he's always dotted around him.
As yet, we haven't signed another striker. Don't know what Poch is.
Yeah, is Janssen still around or is he gone?
Not
that he's much of an FPL
Janssen's
asset.
still around. NG is gone, but Janssen is still
Who's
around. Clinton NG.
Clinton NG. Oof.
We've been clearing out the book, so...
The big names going from Spurs,
some big names.
Federico Fazio's gone as well, yeah.
Gone. The wage bill has decreased, which would suggest
somebody big's coming along,
and I certainly hope it's another striker for Kane. But if it's not, I think Dele Alli is going to be there or thereabouts.
So Dele Alli, good pick, can't argue with that. Who else you got?
But he's not my most expensive midfielder this season.
You got Sanchez? No, sorry, no Arsenal players.
No Arsenal players.
You've got to play this game with your head, not with your heart, right?
Well, I don't think any of them are worth the time in my team.
Arsenal fans, tell us how you feel about that. I mean, for me, I think the Arsenal team this year, no European football, they are going to be jam-packed with potential, right? So, Lacazette, Sanchez, Ozil, Ramsey, we'll come to a bit later on. But okay, Arsenal for you. Okay.
No, so my most expensive midfielder at the moment, and the potential to leave with this player for me out of my team is high. Is De Bruyne. Now I think. Okay,
yeah, expensive, but okay.
I think one of my main concerns with City is the amount of signings that are arriving in Manchester at the moment, and a lot of those players haven't got Premier League pedigree yet. You never really know how they're going to settle.
Yep.
You never know how that many new arrivals are going to settle together, and. Whilst De Bruyne has got Premier League pedigree, he's not new.
Okay.
Where's he going to fit in terms of the team? I don't think he's a rotation risk, but I do think
I don't think so.
I do think he's expensive in terms of the game and what else is available in a lower price bracket. But I just felt I needed some Man City coverage because I think they're a real threat this season.
I think you're absolutely right. I think certainly the two Manchester sides are both going to be a threat this season. I think with City... some people on Twitter saying that Pep's in a bit of a mess, doesn't really know what his best side's going to look like.
And I think there's a real chance of that.
Yeah, but I mean, look at that. I mean, they're going to be strong, right? They're going to be strong. Look at the squad they're building there. Not just the team, but the squad. I mean, Walker's a lot of money, but great player. I think he's a good signing. The midfield, I think from an FPL perspective, there's almost too much choice there. So you've got the two Silvers. You've got Bernardo Silva, you've got David Silva. Navas is gone, I think, right? But you've got Jesus as well, who's either going to be forward or midfield. He's kind of malleable from that perspective. Sané, Sterling,
Torre.
And then you've got so the holding midfielders, which we tend to ignore from an FPL perspective, like Fernandinho, Gundogan, Yaya Toure. But the attacking ones,
they've got to play some of them. So who of the attacking ones are missing out?
Yeah, but from an FPL perspective, who are you going to pick? I mean, I kind of like Sané actually at 8.5, but. It's hard to ignore and disagree with your Kevin De Bruyne pick. He's fantastic with the assists he gets. It's unbelievable. But at 10 or 10.5, what is his price wise?
He's 10.
10 for me. I think that's a bit pricey for me. I'd be downgrading that to a Sané and getting rid of Rondon for somebody. You can't get rid of Rondon.
Leave Rondon alone. Okay, my other expensive midfielder, or more expensive midfielder, is Pogba up at United.
Yes, okay, good pick.
Again,
can't argue with that.
I think great player.
So talk to me about Pogba. So do you think he's good? Do you think if United sign a defensive midfielder, he becomes a better asset, or do you think he only becomes an asset if they get a new defensive midfielder?
So for a start, they're not having Eric Dyer before you start on that.
Look, Jose gets his man 40 million. I think they did the other day. So he could very well be on the way there. Dyer, not an FPL asset though. I don't think Dyer.
Fish. In terms of Eric Dyer, in terms of Pogba, my reasoning for Pogba was partly the arrival of Lukaku at Man United.
Yes, okay. We'll talk about that later. Yeah.
I think their off the ball chemistry, shall we say, their friendship.
Yeah, socially they seem to get on, don't they? They've been, there was
on
a lot YouTube and LA and stuff. Yeah,
a lot of excitement from Pogba at the arrival of Lukaku, and actually, if you see them pre-season playing in the derby the other week together, they look like a great partnership to me.
I'm pretty sure there was one of the goals against Man City in the friendly the other day was a Pogba to Lukaku, Pogba assist, Lukaku goal. I think Mourinho came out afterwards and said, I like the way these two are stacking up. I like the way Lukaku settled in. I think they're going to have a good season, United. I think there's a lot of value there in both Pogba and Lukaku.
For me, I think it's risky to not have a Man United player in the team, and Pogba seemed like a good choice.
All right. So those are your big three. So you must have a couple of cheapies in there.
Well, actually, so my next midfielder is a West Ham player.
Okay.
Now, I don't normally have West Ham players because normally, well, particularly last season, with the move to the Olympic Stadium and everything else, they were just a bit ropey.
Okay, who you gone for?
But I've gone for Lanzini this season.
Okay.
Now, West Ham, I think, are looking good. They've made some good signings. There's Joe Hart at the back. That's going to add a lot of real stability to the spine of the West Ham team.
I like what West Ham are doing. I think they're bringing in some good characters as well, right? So Joe Hart's a very good character. I think that's something that they lacked a bit last season. It's good players, but they lacked a bit of character. I think Joe Hart gives you that on and off the pitch. Yeah. I also think Hernandez, Chicharito. I think he gives you a bit of that as well. They've signed Arnautovic. Now, I'm not a big fan of this guy in terms of a guy, but as from an FPL perspective, he's not bad. Arnautovic, you had him a lot last season, so I think he's coming in at 7 again, right? Or maybe 7.5.
Is he? So
we need to check that price out, right? But he's going to be in the sort of Lanzini bracket.
Yeah, I just felt that Lanzini offered something this season. I don't know. He was just he felt like a bit of a cheeky pick this year.
I think he's good. I think Lanzini's good, right? I mean, he had a pretty solid year last year at 7. Why not?
So. Yeah, I think
right.
so.
So final pick in midfield?
My final pick in midfield is Loftus-Cheek down at Crystal Palace. I needed to counteract the De Bruyne pick.
He's a bit of an enabler then.
He's a bit of an enabler.
Do you think he's a bit of an enabler plus though? I think he could
so.
be alright.
I think he's a good enabler. I think there are a lot of enablers out there that are they're ones are just going to sit on your bench all season. Loftus-Cheek, however, I think has potential to play in my team. Good pedigree coming out of Chelsea. I think he will get a chance at Crystal Palace. So yeah.
For 0.5 more, you can have Jason Punchin though. Now I know you love. There's some picks that you always pick. You love Jason Punchin, and he always pops up with a goal for you every now and again. He's they've announced him as the Crystal Palace captain this year.
Good captain.
FPL pedigree as well, right? Gets a few assists, gets goals. I think if you're looking at the Crystal Palace midfield, I'm not saying that Ruben Loftus-Cheek's a bad pick at 4.5. Yeah, I think he could be. But I think there's other value at 4.5 which could fill that enabler slot, which I'll come to in a minute. And I think that Punchin potentially could be even looking at the 4th slot rather than the 5th slot in our midfields.
And I think it all really settles on what happens with De Bruyne and what I decide to do, whether I keep him or whether he goes, as to whether those Rondons, Loftus-Cheeks can be upgraded.
All right. So let's quickly rattle through your back five then. You've got Trippier.
My back 5. I've obviously got Carl Walker. I've obviously got Kieran Trippier.
You normally do have Carl Walker, to be fair.
Normally
Not anymore now, he's blue, right?
Never again. Look, Carl Walker is a great player. I think he...
Spurs fans not that sad to see him go, though.
No.
I think Poch likes Trippier over him, right?
He does, and I think Pochettino is a very, very good manager. And I think Pochettino, whatever happened between Carl Walker and Pochettino, the Spurs fans aren't sad to see him go. We've in Trippier we have a fantastic replacement. Actually, look at statistics from last season in terms of fantasy league. Trippier was better.
Yeah, he can cross the ball, this kid, can't he? Very, very good.
Has the finish that Kyle Walker doesn't have. Final ball. And yeah, you know, I think Man City, they've got a fantastic player in Kyle Walker, but I'm happy with Trippier in my team.
All right, so I think Trippier 5-5. I think if you look at his ownership on FPL, looking very strong. I think he's a popular pick. Yeah, got the end product. I've certainly drafted him in as well in my
Spurs
current
defence
draft.
looking solid, so I can see some clean sheets coming out
Yeah.
of Wembley this season.
Yeah, can't disagree with that.
Okay, in terms of other people that I can see with clean sheets, Southampton, brilliant games.
Cool, yeah. Look at these early fixtures. So I was looking at this before we come on. So Swansea at home, West Ham at home, Huddersfield away, Watford at home, Palace away. Their first 5, and I think if you go on, it doesn't look too bad for the next 5 after that. So,
No. So
Southampton assets, I think you need to be on it.
So Ryan Bertrand is in my defence.
Okay, yeah, good shout. Okay, like that.
So he's there. Alongside an ever-present in my fantasy team of Charlie Daniels at Bournemouth.
God, I love Charlie Daniels. You bring him in
I
every
do,
year.
I
He's
do
not on Peso
love-
this year.
No,
Got
he's not, but I do love Charlie Daniels. Mostly because
Okay.
I love the banter when Sky Sports News flashes up that Charlie Daniels has scored yet another goal.
So what's he coming in at this year? What's his price?
So they've priced him at 5 this year, which I don't
okay.
think is too bad. And I just feel comfortable having Charlie Daniels in my team.
All right.
Just feel comfortable that he will do me a solid job in terms of the defence, which he's there for, but I also feel like he will earn me points moving forward.
Yeah, and I can see Bournemouth shoring up a bit. They've brought in, I think Begovic has come in goal. They've brought Nathan Ake in as well, right?
They're doing some good things in Bournemouth, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But certainly defensively, they seem to be investing there. So,
Now the
all
other
right,
two,
Charlie Daniels is good.
The other two, I think, are again, they're placeholders at the moment. They probably won't be there come August the 11th, but they are Christian.
These are the cheapy kind of fillers, yeah?
Well, you'd think so, but they're actually both 5. So,
Okay,
so
go on
no, not really.
Go on then, let's hear it.
So, in the ever-present Leicester defender position for me, and strangely, it's
Arsenal
not.
away, first game of the season. Leicester defender.
Let's
Okay,
go
go
to
on.
the gift shop.
Yeah, go on.
It's not it's not my standard Leicester pick.
Huth,
This year
gotta be Huth.
No, it's
You
not
love
this
Huth.
year. It's not. It's Christian Fuchs this
Christian
year.
Fuchs, okay,
But
interesting,
again,
alright.
like I say, I don't think I'm going to be keeping him, and it's the same with my other pick, which is completely random, and I'm not really sure why I popped him
Go
in.
on, go on.
But it's Phil Jagielka at Everton.
Cool, blimey,
And again,
that's outrageous.
And I'm not really seeing a lot of positives coming out of Everton. I feel like they've gone back in time a little bit. It seems to be Wayne Rooney all over again down there.
Well, I think they're investing, so they're buying player after player after player. I think the key to that is, well, how do they all settle? What's his back four for next year? Is Jagielka even in it? I think at 5.
I don't know.
I think you need to change that.
I think he'd be going. And then again, when we get into my keepers, there's an ever-present keeper for me.
Go on.
And that's Ben Foster down at West Brom.
Yeah, can't argue that. He's pretty
Great.
solid.
Yeah.
Tony Pulis' sides tend to be pretty solid. So I think if you're going a West Brom defender or goalkeeper, then I think Foster's not a bad
I think
shout.
so. And then I was looking for. I mean, he's coming in at 4.5 this season, so I was looking for a 4 for my other other keeper. Not knowing a lot about Brighton and Hove and Huddersfield, I popped in Coleman down at Huddersfield, but I've since read that he's actually their second.
I think we need some help
keeper.
on that, guys. So comment on the video below. I think anybody out there that knows about Huddersfield, knows about any of the teams coming out, actually, Newcastle, Huddersfield, Brighton, tell us what your thoughts are in terms of not just starting goalkeepers, but starting. Where's the value in your teams? I've got a Brighton defender in my team, in Lewis Dunk. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think he's good value at 4-5. But you guys will know better than we do. Tell us what you think. Where's the value in your teams?
I think Coleman will be making way. Since I did my team, my draft originally, Joe Hart's arrived at West Ham, and for me...
Yes, okay, so 4.5 he came in at, right?
He's still 4.5, so he's the same price as Foster. So he's 0.5 more than I normally spend on my second keeper.
All right.
But, if I can get them working in terms of home and away fixtures, and I haven't looked at that, then I think Joe Hart's a really good pick.
All right, like the sound of that team. Comment below what you think about that. I think there's I'm not sure about Rondon, but I think there's some potential to upgrade Rondon if you can find some money in the midfield, and that could be in your Man City assets. So let's have a quick whistle stop tour of my team then. So I've not gone Kane up top. I think that is the one. I'm just bringing up my team here, so let me just find it. It's the one that I'm concerned about. I've made a conscious decision not to pick him. he probably will be in my team, at some stage this year. He is what he is, right? But instead of Kane, I've gone Lukaku. I think the combination of Pogba and Lukaku at United is really going to flourish. Lukaku's probably going to be on penalties, unless any of you United fans out there can tell me differently. It's already starting to look good in pre-season. Jose's already come out and said that he likes the look of him. He spent an insane amount of money on this kid. So, what's not to like? I think even at 11.5. I think it's the one to have. So I've gone Lukaku. Then we come to... I've gone 2 forwards from 2 teams whose midfield's a bit of a minefield. So I think the Man City midfield, as we've already discussed, a bit of a minefield. So I've gone Jesus up front, simply because I think Pep loves him. And I think he's going to really fit into that side. Pep's already come out and said that he and Aguero can play together, which is good. And, I look around the rest of the midfield, De Bruyne apart, because I think he is guaranteed starts. But at 10, you'd expect that.
Expensive.
Do you go Sané? Do you go Silva? Do you go the other Silva? Do you go, Sterling? I just think it's a minefield. So I've gone Jesus up front on the basis that I think he's going to be a starter for Pep. And we've already seen him hit the ground running in the Premier League last year. And he was a bit of an FPL essential at the back end of last year. And I think you regret not getting him in, right?
Well, let's be really honest about this. He was the reason you beat me last season.
Well, I think, So, you were beating me, actually, towards the back end of last season. And
until the last game.
Was it until the last game? Okay, it's a couple of seasons we've had that. There was a Giroud hat-trick a few seasons back.
Season before.
Was that the season before? Yeah,
it was when you said that I did a Spurs, because I actually didn't even finish second, did I? I came third.
Giroud hat-trick as captain was absolutely done it for us. So I tend to have these kind of last-minute punts on players when I'm not beating Sam, and Jesus really worked out for me last year, so I was quite happy about that. So I'm going to go...
And actually, those 2 worry me, those 2 as picks. Being in your
Lukaku
team.
and Jesus.
I think
and I'm thinking about captaincy picks, right? One of those players will be at home because of the Manchester thing each week, so you've got a decent home
the Lukaku
captain
thing
pick there as well, right?
The Lukaku thing I may have covered in terms of Pogba.
Okay.
But
I think
if I get rid of De
team at some
Bruyne,
stage,
then
Lukaku.
potentially.
My third striker is Firmino from Liverpool. So I think,
Okay,
again, the Liverpool midfield is a bit of a minefield. Again, do you go Salah, who seems to have settled quite well at Liverpool at 9? Do you go Mane at 9.5? Possibly not, because I don't think he's going to be fit and ready for the start of the season. So you probably don't go Mane right now. Phil Coutinho, very popular on FPL right now, right? If you look at the percentage owned stats, Phil Coutinho is right up there. Klopp's saying that he's potentially going to play him in a slightly deeper holding role, in a kind of Pirlo-y sort of role. So
Right.
do you go there? I mean, certainly a lot of you guys are. So tell us who you think is the right Liverpool midfielder to go for.
Liverpool, I just feel like it's a minefield.
Well, yeah, hence I'm going Firmino. I mean, 8-5 up top. He's no Rondon, right? But I think he's the one player that Klopp really likes in that position, and he plays the way that Klopp wants him to play, that makes space for the other players. So I think Firmino is a decent pick there. If you're going to stay away for now from the Liverpool midfield, to see how that works out.
Yeah, I can see that. Now he's a striker as well, rather than a... I don't know.
And he's easily downgradable, I think. If Defoe starts to fire, you go Defoe. If Rondon starts to fire, you go Rondon. If the Southampton players start to fire, if Austin starts to fire, or even Gabbiadini, right? He came into the Premier League and he was on fire, and then he kind of dipped a bit after. But this guy's clearly got goals in him. So if any of those players start to fire, Firmino then becomes a downgradable, right?
Firmino than I am the other 2, but I can see why.
Oh yeah, I think the other 2 are my 2 big picks. Firmino's a bit of a flexible one, right?
You have to have a Liverpool player in your team. And
I have to, I have to have a Liverpool player.
So tell me about your midfield. If you've not gone Harry Kane, then I'm expecting an Eriksen or Ali.
Yeah. So I've gone Ali. I mean, let's not dwell on that. We've spoken about that already. I think Ali's a great pick. I've gone. I think there's a lot of value in the kind of 6.57 area. So I've not gone a De Bruyne like you have. But I have gone for a couple of 7s, and one 7 I've gone for is Ramsey. And let me talk to you about Ramsey. So I know you don't go Arsenal picks for your team, but I think there's a lot of value in Ramsey this year. Wenger seems to have found a formation that suits Arsenal in terms of the 3 at the back and the flying wingers. I think Xhaka and Coquelin are going to kind of sit there and hold, and you're going to find Ramsey getting a lot more freedom in supporting those guys up front. So I think Ramsey at 7 is a really good pick. If you look at that, the rest of the 7 category, Willian at Chelsea, I think is also in my draft at the moment. I think he is, while Hazard is injured, he's the guy that's potentially on the free kicks. He's on a lot of set pieces. He certainly can fill the Hazard void. Now, when Hazard comes back, does he keep his place? Who drops out?
So you're not going to be able to upgrade Willian.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of things to think about when Hazard comes back. I think a lot of people might, I think he's missing the first sort of 4 or 5 weeks, so he could be kind of wild card material if you go an early wild card. But
that
for me,
international break stages.
Yeah, potentially. But for now, I think Willian has got loads and loads of potential.
Okay.
So good value there.
And
and
good
again,
pick.
We've talked about Southampton's fixtures. So Redmond for me, I think is a good pick. I think if you're going to go Southampton midfield, it's him or Tadic. I think you can make a case for Ward-Prowse, but Redmond or Tadic are the ones. I've gone Redmond. I think I just like the kid. I think he's a young, talented English player. He missed the pen in the semis against Germany in the summer in the under-21 Euros, but as long as that doesn't affect him, which
he'll bounce back.
I don't think he will. He'll bounce back and have a good season. My 4.5 enabler. I know you've gone Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and I certainly looked at Ruben Loftus-Cheek, but the punching thing put me off. But I think Tom Carroll at Swansea has got real potential to unlock that 4.5 place.
And actually, Tom Carroll, in his years at Spurs, when he played really well.
I think he's a really good player, right?
And
Very
I think
creative
actually,
player.
what he's done by moving to Swansea is really clever, because he's gonna play every week, which he's not gonna get at Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Great pick, I think.
The other thing I was thinking is that if Sigurdsson goes, and Swansea are asking 50 million or something for Sigurdsson, right? But if he does go, who's on the free kicks? Who's on the set piece? I think Tom Carroll's on. I genuinely do, and I think 4.5 is a great pick.
He's a great kid.
So actually, you could be in a position where you're going Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Carroll in midfield and taking up 2 4.5 slots. Suddenly, you can go De Bruyne, you can go Sanchez, you can go Lacazette, you can go wherever you want.
That's
so
true.
Tell us what you think in the comments. Do you think 2 4.5s in the middle is really scraping the barrel? Or do you think that Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Tom Carroll are, they're good picks and enable you for the rest of the team?
For a change, I think at least one of them. Normally, you're scraping the barrel with midfields for a cheap one.
Normally you go a 4.5 and he never plays.
And he never plays. He sits on your bench as your third sub every week. But actually, this season, I think you're looking at a couple of kids who could do really well for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's rattle through my defence. Trippier, I've gone Trippier. I think a lot of you guys out there have gone Trippier as well. He seems pretty popular in FPL this year because of the Kyle Walker factor, so let's not dwell on that. Cedric Suarez as well from Southampton. Look at those fixtures. I think there's clean sheets in that.
No-brainer.
I've gone for Lewis Dunk as well at... is he Brighton or Huddersfield? This is terrible that I didn't know that. Brighton Hove Albion, right?
What do you know of him?
So, not a lot. So I'd like to hear from Brighton fans in the comments section about what Lewis Dunk is like. But as far as I'm aware, he's an England international. I'm not sure what level, whether he's kind of under 20s, under 21s. I think he's at that sort of level. I don't think he's got senior call-ups yet, but he's certainly got called up to the under 21s. I don't think he played necessarily in the tournament that's just been on in the summer. But look, this kid is something like 6.4. The Brighton fans that I tweet on Twitter are all talking about how this guy gets stuck in, right? Gets his head in.
Head up, right.
Yeah. So he's going to have plenty of penalty area presence when those corners are coming in, right? He's the guy that's forward. He's not the guy that's hanging back. So I think Lewis Dunk, one to watch out for. At 4.5, I think he's worth a shout, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And then my other defender, let's not talk about him. I've just gone Rangel from Swansea. I normally have, I think most of you guys do out there, you have like a 4.0 filler at the back, right? So I've got Rangel, not expecting big things from him. Maybe not even expecting him to start. My other defender, and the one that I do want to spend maybe just a minute talking about, is Alonso from Chelsea.
Oh.
So I know that you really liked Alonso last year, and it hurt me not to have Alonso for big periods of last year.
This pains me. Alonso is my go-to defender, isn't he? So the fact that you've got him and I haven't really hurts.
So is that what we're saying? Is he the one that you fear in my team for game week 1?
Absolutely. Okay. I think Alonso is... Look, if Alonso was 6.5, he would be in my team straight away. He's 7.
Okay, yeah. Hey, listen, look, if he was a 7 million midfielder, would you have him?
Well, yes, but 7
So he's a 7 million defender, so why wouldn't you have him? I mean, this guy... So this guy, if you look at the stats, you look at the heat maps, this guy was like up there with Costa last year. He's like, right up there with Costa in the penalty area. So...
I'm scared.
I think he's the one in my team for you to be afraid of. I'm afraid of Harry Kane. I think we've settled that one for this week. I think it's Alonso and Kane, isn't it?
Going in order
so you can get Alonso. This is the problem with doing a podcast, right? Because you know what I'm doing every week.
We don't normally tell each other our teams until after the deadline.
And then in goal, we've discussed it. I'm going Foster. I'm going Joe Hart. I don't know if they rotate well. I need to look at that. I think Hart rotates well with Gomez actually at Watford.
But both great keepers. And both going to get
both solid. I think they'll get points.
Both going to get you fancy points.
They'll get points. Right, so let's wrap this up. We've got 30 seconds before we hit the half hour. So we've gone Kane and Alonso. They're the two we're scared of.
Kane's going to be my captain,
Kane
probably.
Not having. You've gone Kane captain. I think Lukaku. I think home to West Ham. I think United are going to start off well. They're going to want to. He's going to want to in front of the Old Trafford faithful. The Joe Hart factor could play a part there. You know, ex-Man City in goal for West Ham. Is he going to want a Lukaku at the score and for Man United to start well? I don't think so. But I do back him to do well. I'm backing Pogba to do well in that game as well. So I think you got onto a good pick there. So I'm going Lukaku captain, top point scorer for the week. Interesting one. I think you know, a lot of these picks are going to be in line with my captain choice, obviously. So I'm backing Lukaku to do well. I just think if Pogba, let's see, if United sign a defensive midfielder, I think Pogba could be the one to look out for in that game. I think he's had his settling in period now. You know, 90 million, you know, he should be settling in straight away. I get that, but I think he's had his settling in period now. I expect him to have a big season. I think he expects himself to have a big season. I think he's the one to look out for. Maximum point scorer is going to be Pogba, game week 1. You heard it here first. Goal, assist, 3 bonus points. Job done.
And you'll be very upset.
And he's not in my draft at the moment, so that's a terrible shout.
We'll come back and see us next week and see if it is in your draft.
Oh, just before we go, who's your jammy shout? We're going Rondon.
Well, we can
go Rondon.
We can go Rondon for this week, but unfortunately, I think by the time you guys come and talk to us next week, Rondon will be...
Okay, so when are we doing the next one? We're going to do one in the lead up to the 11th, right? In the lead up to the Arsenal
we'll
game.
see you again before Arsenal Leicester.
9th or 10th, I guess. Cool.
Just to see what we've done with our teams, whether we've made any changes.
If Rondon's still in your team then we might not do any more, ever. It's a terrible pick. All right, that's it from us. See you in a couple of weeks. Good luck with your fantasy teams. Cheers.